Hi, I'm Bronwyn, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my alopecia areata that I have. It is a type of hair loss that occurs when your immune system attacks your hair follicles. So there's not necessarily a whole lot you can really do about it. You just kind of go with the flow with it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I dealt with it, and some helpful tips for you if you happen to have it or someone that you know does. So when I started to lose my hair, I was a sophomore in high school. It started out as a quarter size and it was right in the back of my head, so I thought, whatever, no big deal. Well, as I progressively got older, it progressively got worse, not any better. So I started to lose my hair in the entire headband area. Well, I didn't tell anybody in high school besides my really, really close friends because people are mean, and I was already made fun of for my facial palsy that I have. I was born without my 7th facial nerve, so I do talk crooked and I do have a lazy eye, and I didn't want to give people more of a reason to be mean to me. So I thought, I can make it through high school and then I will deal with the rest of it on my way out. So I graduated after going through a lot of different emotional stuff with it. I went to Iowa City multiple times throughout my couple years in high school, and I was getting cortisone shots in my head because they're supposed to help with regrowth, and I would numb my head and I'd get about 50 to 60 shots. And I would highly suggest that for anybody who thinks that they really have a high chance of having their hair grow back, because my hair did grow back for about 2 to 3 inches and then it did fall out again. Alopecia is very unpredictable and you never really know what's going to happen. Thankfully, I do have alopecia areata, which means I only have it in patches on my head. If I were to have universals, that means I wouldn't have any hair on my arms, I wouldn't have my eyebrow hair, all that kind of stuff. So I am thankful for that. After graduating, I went to DMAC, and going through DMAC, I didn't really like it. It wasn't really something that I wanted to do, so I decided that beauty school was what I wanted to do from the beginning and that I should try and go for it. So after being in beauty school for a while, which I started in February, it hit about April and I was still wearing extensions and covering my head in all the spots that I was missing my hair, and I decided, my life would be so much easier now that I'm graduated and don't have to deal with anybody but the people here, that I should just shave my head because no one's gonna see me. So right before I decided to shave my head, I decided that I should go look into wigs first because I didn't want to be walking around bald all the time. So I went and I found a wig, and I thought, this is now the time that I should tell people. So I went and I made a very long Facebook status explaining I didn't want anyone's sympathy, I didn't want the mean comments, I just wanted people to understand this is what I was going through and this is how I was going to deal with it, and I was going to start wearing wigs because I didn't want people to look at me like, oh my gosh, she changes her hair every single week, how does she do that? It's just so much easier for me to make one long post and everybody just see what I'm talking about and understand it. So after that, getting my first wig, I went ahead and shaved my head. It was very, very hard to go through. I would not ever say that losing my hair was an easy experience. I have come a very long way since I started to lose my hair. I was an emotional wreck through high school going through that. No one really knew about it because I didn't want to have to explain myself and deal with everybody being mean. So, for me to be able to explain it to you now is so much easier than me trying to explain it to you when I was still in high school, because it would just be terrible. And I've had so many people support me through this entire thing. I haven't had one person really be mean to me. I'm sure people are mean and they don't say anything to me directly, which is fine because I know that happens and people are rude. But, the other thing about it is that I don't necessarily like to walk around without my wigs just because I don't want people thinking that I have cancer. I have gone to the store multiple times, or out in public, or downtown Des Moines, where people will stare at me, and their kids will stare. Your kids are going to stare. I'm bald, and I'm only 20, so it's okay. I know that that's how kids are. I mean, you can't do anything about it. So, don't worry about that. I'm not worried. I just think that it's easier to wear them because having people walk up to me and saying, I'm so sorry that you're sick, or I'm so sorry you have cancer, you're so young. I don't. And sitting there explaining it to them, they're just like, well, I don't understand. Like, why don't you have cancer, but you don't have any hair on your head? Well, that's how alopecia is. It's not something where I have cancer and I'm losing my hair. It's just my immune system attacking my follicles. I can't do anything about it. That's just how it's going to be. And so, I mean, I would rather have someone come up and confront me and say, hey, like, nice haircut. Like, why did you decide to do that? Or something. I mean, it's just not as awkward when someone asks me that kind of thing. I mean, somebody to walk up to me and say the cancer thing, it's just so awkward. And, I mean, I can't blame them because so many people nowadays do. And that's terrible. And I wish I could stop that. I would do anything to. And I'm very thankful that I don't have it. But I also feel so terrible when people automatically walk up to me and think that they have a connection with me or that they know who I am and know how I am and what I've been going through, because it's totally different and I would never wish that upon anyone. But I mean, it's hard for anybody to go through hair loss, especially when they're young. So I understand people that hide it because, I mean, I did it, which sometimes I regret and sometimes I'm so glad I did. I mean, it was hard to wear hair extensions every day. After a while, it takes a toll on you, and they do hurt to lay in or sleep in over at somebody's house. That was what I think I struggled with the most, is not being able to take them out at night because I worried that I would wake up and they would be staring at my bald spots on my head. But, life is going to throw you curveballs. It's so unpredictable, and you can't do anything about it sometimes. So just taking what it is with how you decide to go about it is what's going to make the difference in your life. You have to grab life and say, this is what I'm going to do with myself and this is how I'm going to live it, and if you don't support me, then that's fine, but I'm going to do what I want to do. Wigs have given me a whole new opportunity for different hair colors, different styles, things that I never would have done with my own hair. I mean, wigs are awesome. I would never have worn them in high school because people would look at me and think, wow, she's only 16 or 17 and she's already wearing wigs. That's so weird. And I'm sure some people wouldn't think that, but a majority of them probably would, which is fine because it's not every day that you see some 17-year-old, 16-year-old wearing a wig. So yeah, I mean, I understand, but you also have to understand, like, that person has feelings. You can't just sit there and automatically be like, gosh, that's so weird, because that's just awkward and rude, and you would rather just not deal with it. And I understand because I did the same thing. So, I mean, wearing extensions and hiding it was what I thought was best. But now that I have shaved my head and wear my wigs, it's awesome. I normally shave my head every week to 2 weeks because right now I do have patches growing. I'm growing it out right now just to see how it kind of goes in, because some of it's blonde and some of it's brown. And I actually have a hairline now, which is kind of weird looking, but anyway. So, I mean, for anybody who that is losing hair, has alopecia, needs to look into ideas to help them, I mean, send them my way. I would be more than happy to help. Anybody that does have alopecia areata and is struggling as bad as I was with, nothing was helping and you couldn't do anything right and it wasn't coming back, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to shave your head, but I mean, I 100% support it. I mean, I'm in cosmetology school too, and I will do it for you. And if you need somebody to go with you somewhere else and hold your hand while you do it, or stand there and have that support, I will go with you. You have to think, like, so many people are going to support you. They're not going to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, this person is so weird. Like, it's life, and you're going to have to deal with it the way that you deal with it. I was really hard on myself at first, and, I wish that I wouldn't have been, but I always sat there and thought, man, I can't do anything with my hair now. I don't have hair, but, like, wigs are awesome. I 100% suggest wigs. I know many places that make them and have them. I will help you go find them. I suggest the cortisone shots to anybody that thinks their hair is going to grow back, because that should definitely help you. There's makeup that you can get for your head specifically that will stay on for like 24 hours, or it's waterproof, and I can try and help you find that. I will do anything I can to help you and support you. I know that in your time of need, that's what you always want, is support. Support is the biggest thing that you could ever get from anybody. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've walked into places with my wigs on and people give you compliments saying like, I love your hair is so pretty. You know, you just say thanks, I appreciate it. I mean, it's so awesome to get compliments like that. I mean, even if they're like, oh, it's a wig, I mean, you shouldn't feel weird about it. That's awesome that you didn't even realize it was a wig and that you thought it was real hair. You know how much better that person feels. I mean, I'm so excited when people walk up to me and they're like, I love your hair. People that don't know who I am have no idea that I wear wigs. It's for them to come to me and be like, oh my gosh, your hair is so cute. I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. And then, you know, it just sparks conversation and you just talk to them about stuff and whatever. But, I mean, life is life, and you have to go through it with the best outlook that you can. And being positive on everything is so hard, but it's so important. I mean, I can't tell you how hard it was to stay positive through that, but now that I am where I am, I'm so much happier. And I will always be there for anybody that needs help. I mean, if anyone else needs help and they come to you, you should always support them with what they need. I would never suggest turning somebody away that's really in a time of need, just because you never know what they're really thinking or what they're going through. I mean, you have to be there to help people. And support is it's so important. You will never understand. But I want to help as many people as I can. So if you have anybody that needs anything, or dealing with alopecia, needs wigs, extensions, anything like that, send them my way and I will definitely help them as much as I can. Thank you so much for watching.